Hi there, it's Pete from Pete's Plants, and today we're just going to show you some different forms of sarracenia and which ones die back over the winter and which ones, retain their leaves. Some die back part way, some die back completely, and others you'll find are virtually evergreen. So it's probably one of the biggest questions we're asked this time of year, that a lot of people figure out that some of their plants are not actually dying back and some are dying back completely, and they get a little bit confused because the care for them is very similar for all the different varieties actually, and the principle of keeping them all over the winter in an unheated greenhouse is exactly the same. So if you've got one like this that's died back almost completely, you'll find it's got winter leaves, non-carnivorous leaves. These are called phylos, and these are, you can identify these between flava and aureophila. Flava's leaves, they tend to be more upright and sword shaped, so it's a good way to distinguish the two different varieties. All of the summer leaves, the pitchers have actually died back almost to their bases, and this is the time where you can just go around and pull them all out or cut them back, and then that can rest for the winter, and these leaves can remain on there until the spring when you want to cut those back even further. That one comes up a lot quicker in the spring, but you'll find that it dies back a lot earlier in the summer, and especially by the autumn it's pretty much looking as good as it has been all summer. Really won't get any better than that. This is Sarracenia purpurea, and this is the hardiest of the subspecies, and this is one that retains its leaves all through the winter. It's a bit slower to grow in the summer, and it's a much shorter, stockier variety. You'll often find when you divide this one up that the rhizomes fall away without any root attached, and it's quite difficult to actually get in there with your fingers and break them apart because the leaves are always on the plant. That one obviously can stay outside all year round. It's totally hardy, and it's actually been naturalised here in the UK. Certain parts of the Lake District you'll find these. Just find Sarracenia. This is flava. This is a hybrid. This is Flava caprea, so this is a cross between two different flavas but within the same subspecies. This one dies back part way. If you've got a plant like this, you can just cut off the dead bits, leave the green bits if you can. There's no rush to cut it all back completely, because the plant's still absorbing nutrition from the insects, and obviously it's still okay to keep green leaves on there. It's not going to have any risk of fungal problems, providing you haven't got botrytis starting in at the base of the rhizome. So it's a good idea just to tidy that up. You'll find that these ones come off, they're a bit tougher to pull off from the rhizome, but it's easier to see the rhizomes. Sarracenia aureophila, they tend to bury the rhizomes under the ground, and then when you divide them up, you'll find they're a lot further down the pot. This is another hybrid. This is Sarracenia excellens, and this is a cross between Leucophila and Minor. It's a very tall growing hybrid, and once again the rhizomes grow more above the soil. It's a good rule to remember when you're repotting them, to always keep the rhizome above the soil. You don't want to bury the rhizome in any way. Make sure the roots are really firm in the soil, and then you'll find that the roots, they'll go straight down to the pot even if you have a very deep pot, and you'll find that way the plant's able to stabilize itself better in the wind. But this is a cross. This has Leucophila in its lineage, and that's a subspecies which tends to grow late in the year. It doesn't keep its traps very well in the winter, but it's a lot later growing, so you'll find that the leaves still look rather fresh this time of year, middle of November, because of the very reason it's got that hybrid in its cross. This is another hybrid. This is a cross between Sarracenia rubra and Leucophila, and you can see it's got these lovely pink traps, much shorter growing but stockier, and it grows a lot of rhizomes each year. You'll find you get 2 or 3 from quite a large plant. Actually, it's a bit more vigorous in the way it divides, and that's because of Sarracenia rubra. It's a lot quicker to divide like that, but you'll see it's also got its traps carrying on through the winter because it's got leucophila in it, and that's probably one that won't actually die back completely until about January.